Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of FTT Chats. I'm Laura Camperson, Product and Content Manager here at VC Innovations, and today I'm chatting with Andrew Bud, Chief Executive Officer at iProov. So welcome Andrew, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you, Laura.
Now it's great to have you here. Now, I'm really excited to chat to you today, Andrew, because I'm leading on our identity, content and experiences here, and iProov are having such a phenomenal impact in this space at the moment. I think in the last few weeks, I've been seeing global, pretty much press coverage featuring iProov, and so I'd love to hear some more about that and the exciting developments you're working on in our conversation today. But first, if I could just ask you to introduce yourself and just to tell us what you do for everybody listening.
So I'm Andrew Bud. I am the founder and CEO of London-based iProov. We authenticate remote users online using face verification, and we're the world leaders in ensuring anti-spoofing and the genuine presence of a user on any device, irrespective of brand or technology. We're widely used throughout the world by governments and banks to assure genuine presence for onboarding and authentication.
Fantastic. Well, it's a real pleasure to have you here today. And now, as I mentioned at the beginning, you appear to be having such a massive global impact right now. And I'd really love to hear more about what you've been working on. So could you tell me, what is iProov working on at the moment in the digital identity space?
So we're finding tremendous demand for our services to enable the creation of digital identities worldwide. The moment at which a human being binds to a digital identity, whether that's a government digital identity, a public sector digital identity such as NHS login in the UK, whether that's a nationally recognized identity like an EIDAS signature, as we're supporting now in a couple of places in Europe, or a private sector identity like a bank. That is a tremendous demand, and then also the authentication of people to those identities is a very rapidly growing sector for us. What we're finding tremendous demand for, is what you were referring to before, Laura, is our work on vaccine certificates. There's been a lot of
that's been the hot topic, hasn't it?
Very much so. There's been a lot of focus on how do you know that a certificate is genuine. That's someone else's problem. What we're solving is how do you know that a person who creates the certificate is the same person who is presenting that certificate, and that's where we're getting tremendous traction worldwide.
Yeah, no, fantastic. Well, anything that plays a part in getting things moving again for me, it gets a tick in my book. So now, as you've said, there's so much going on in digital identity right now. I think there's a real growing demand for kind of seamless and remote solutions for proving identity across multiple sectors, as you mentioned, and especially under the circumstances of the pandemic. I think it's such a booming market. But can you tell me more about iProov specifically? So what do you think makes your technology so unique in the market?
The reason why we have been the provider of choice to governments and other demanding large organizations worldwide is that uniquely we're able to bring together very strong security against all the attacks that can be made on face verification, whether it's an artifact, something that's thrust in front of the camera, or digital injection attack, together with an ease of use and a ubiquity that makes it incredibly socially inclusive. We think that the inclusivity is incredibly important, and iProov is uniquely inclusive in being incredibly usable by people aged 9 to 90, whatever their ability or their device.
Oh, fantastic. I think you're absolutely right. Inclusivity is such an important factor in building digital identity systems, and something that I think is being more and more talked about. You can't introduce a solution widely into a bank or whatever it is that you're introducing it into if not all of the customers and people using that solution can make use of it. So that's really fantastic. Great, and you'll be joining us at iProov. We're delighted to have you as our headline sponsor for our FTT Identity event, which is coming up on the 17th of March. So as you're watching this interview, there'll still be a couple of days left to register for your free pass. So please do so and come and join us. But you'll be giving the opening keynote at the event, won't you, Andrew? So yeah, what can we expect to hear from that? Can you give us a little sneak preview of what we can expect to hear from that presentation?
So on one hand, obviously, I just want to rehearse the challenges involved in the creation of good digital identities, the threats and the challenges and things that happen. I'm going to explore the rapidly emerging field where onboarding and authentication are starting to merge together. We're seeing some very big trends which are new, linking what were actually two completely separate worlds. Previously, onboarding was one thing and strong customer authentication was another. These two are coming together, and I'll describe that. And thirdly, I'm going to talk about the significance of the rapidly emerging, and to our mind, very exciting area of verifiable credentials. This is something we're very familiar with from our work on vaccine certificates, and we think it's going to have a huge impact on the future shape of the digital identity industry.
Fantastic. That sounds really exciting. It's great to look ahead, isn't it, and kind of imagine, what the coming years will hold for digital identity. As I say, it's such an exciting industry to be part of right now. So that's brilliant.
It's such an exciting industry. I have a long history. I spent 20 years in the mobile industry, and we went into that world. We were going to completely change the world, and you know what? It happened. I get the same feeling about digital identity today.
You do. So you think sort of 5 to 10 years down the line, it's going to be something that's pretty much as commonplace for people as having a mobile phone is today, perhaps.
You see this object here? This is the world's first ever digital mobile telephone, which the development team of which I had the privilege of leading in 1989. We had a dream. And very quickly, it turned into reality. I can begin to see that in 5 to 10 years' time, the world of digital identity will have completely transformed the way that people interact and create trust in the online ecosystem. I think we will play an essential role in that by binding human beings, which is ultimately what it's all about, to their credentials, however they're stored and wherever they're stored in the internet.
No, absolutely fantastic. And those are all the sorts of topics that we will be exploring at FTT Identity. So we're really so pleased to have you as a part of that. It will be brilliant. So thank you so much for joining me today, Andrew. It's been a pleasure to speak to you, and I look forward to hearing more on the 17th of March.
Thank you, Laura, and I look forward to talking virtually to your audience. I look forward to the day when we can speak too.
Yes, no, that would that would be fantastic, and hopefully things will be getting moving, and we'll be seeing back to physical events in the next coming months. But yeah, in the meantime, great to chat with you virtually, and see you soon. Thank you everyone for watching. Bye now.